On Tuesday, 2 days before Passover, while teaching the crowds who had gathered around him in Jerusalem, Jesus confronted the hypocrisy of the religious leaders. His rebuke of them was harsh. He called them vipers, hypocrites, and blind guides. He told the crowds not to do what the religious leaders were doing because they didn't practice what they preached. He said they were like whitewashed tombs. They looked beautiful on the outside, like they were righteous men, but on the inside, they were full of rot and decay. It's not hard to understand why these religious leaders wanted to silence Jesus permanently. Later that day, Jesus was at the home of Simon the leper. Mary poured a jar of very expensive perfume over Jesus and wiped it off with her hair. Judas Iscariot objected, saying the perfume could have been sold and the money given to the poor. But Scripture tells us that this wasn't the real reason Judas was angry. He was the keeper of the money and he was a thief. He wasn't concerned about the poor, he just wanted more money for himself. Jesus rebuked Judas and defended Mary, saying she had done a beautiful thing. He also foretold his death by saying that the perfume was in preparation for his burial. Scripture tells us that Satan entered Judas, and on this day he went to the chief priests and the officers of the temple guard and discussed with them how he might betray Jesus. They agreed to pay him 30 pieces of silver. He left them and waited for the right time to hand Jesus over to the authorities when the crowds weren't around. That opportunity would come in just a few days. You know, some people who were following Jesus at that time were looking at him as a military or political leader. Was this why Judas betrayed Jesus? To force his hand and try to make him seize power? Or perhaps Judas was motivated by being close to power and he was disappointed when Jesus began predicting his death. Maybe the 30 pieces of silver seemed like a better choice than being a follower of a dead prophet. We don't know. But each of us can also fall prey to conjuring up a false image of Jesus. Some look at Jesus as a magic genie to pray to and will make all our personal wishes come true. Yet Jesus said in order to follow him, we must deny ourselves and take up our cross daily. That's a harder road, and it's something to think about.